Hi, everyone. Welcome to Movement and Mindfulness Mondays. We are so glad that you are joining us today. We have a wonderful guest today. We have Marcus Williams, who is a physical therapist here at Ohio State. Marcus, I will hand it over to you.
Hey, everybody. So good to be here on Monday and get you guys moving a little bit. Today, we're going to go through just a very simple series of movements to kind of just work on getting us unstuck from sitting all day, every day. I know it can be tough to get away from the computer. So that's enough talking and we'll get right to it. So I'm going to stand up here and the first thing we're going to do is what I call a pelvic tilt. So I'll give you a couple of angles and some instructions and we'll start working through this. So what we're trying to do with the pelvic tilt is really just moving at the hips, trying to bring our pelvis forward, hips back. So we're going to start out, we're going to do 2 sets of 15. And again, I'll show you from the front here, just forward and back. A lot of times when we're seated, we really get stuck in this rounded posture, can put a lot of tension in the low back. So just to start things off, we're going to try to work that pelvic tilt motion. I'm extending and I'm flexing. And you can't really see my knees right now, but the key thing is they're not really moving. All this motion is coming from my hips. So again, the goal is 2 sets of 15. I'm going to do 5 more here, then we'll get into the rest of our series. Good. I know that can be a little bit awkward, but it's definitely very beneficial for people that spend a lot of time in that flex posture. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into a shoulder movement series. It really works the shoulders and the upper back. Again, a lot of times when we're seated, we find ourselves kind of hunched forward, rounded here, and that can lock up the upper back, get the shoulders rounded. It can just make them tense and tight. So the first thing we're going to do is shoulder flexion. So if you have a wall, you want to try to brace yourself against the wall where your back is completely flat. Now that's why we did the pelvic tilt movement at the beginning, because again, a lot of times people will be up against the wall and they'll be anterior tilted, so there'll be a lot of space in between their back and the wall. What you want to do is get against the wall and try to flatten the back against the wall to eliminate all that space. So if you could see beside me here, there's no space, there's no air between my back and the wall. Shoulders are in contact with the wall, knees are slightly bent to kind of help me get in a good comfortable position. Then now what we're going to do is just keeping elbows extended, thumbs facing back, coming all the way overhead and trying to touch my thumbs to the wall. Now there's going to be a lot of people that are like, there's no way, and that's fine. You just go as far as you can and come back down. Now again, we're just going repetition. You want to push into that tension and come back, but you don't want to try to go so far back to where you extend your hips forward. So the key is to really stay nice and congruent there to the wall, pelvic tilted forward, elbows extended, touching the wall. Now we're going to do 2 sets of 10. Again, just rolling at your own pace here. I'm going to knock out 8 more of these for demonstration purposes. And we'll keep moving forward. But again, you'll feel most of the restriction. You're either going to feel it in your shoulders, or a lot of people will feel it in the upper back. And either place is fine. It's just kind of indicating where you are most tight. But the movement in itself is going to work on all those pieces. Good, I'll do a couple more here. Great. Now you can kind of sit yourself forward, shake it out, because those are deceivingly difficult. So now the next thing we're going to do is shoulder external and internal rotation. So again, it's going to be the same position, knees slightly bent, pelvis in that posterior tilt so you can flatten the back against the wall. Your arms are going to be out to your side, elbows in contact with the wall, elbows bent at 90. And now we're just trying to rotate our arms as far back as we can. Again, you may make it to the wall, you may not. I'm probably about 1.5 inches away. That's as far as I can go. I can feel it in my upper back pretty good. Then I come down here, and again, trying to see if I can get my hands as close to the wall as possible without pulling off the wall. Again, this is a great thoracic, upper back mobility, shoulder mobility, and strengthening exercise for people that have to spend prolonged period of times seated at their desk. Again, usually try to do 2 sets of 10. Just want to continue with this demonstration for about 5 more, and we'll move on. Good. Again, just walk yourself forward, kind of shake it out, because see, I'm already starting to sweat a little bit. These are not easy by any means. So the next thing we're going to do is thoracic rotation against the wall. So my forward leg, my leg furthest from the wall is forward. The leg closest to the wall is back. So I'm kind of in this like lunge position. I'm going to take my hand closest to the wall and just put it straight. And you can touch the wall a little bit. It'll help with balance. But I do want to stay in this nice athletic position. My outside hand comes up, and now I'm just going to rotate. I'm going to follow my arm motion with my neck to get that whole spine. And if I can, I want to try to come back to the wall. But again, I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to go where my body allows me to go here. Great. You'll notice as you do a few reps, it'll get a little looser. You may get a little closer to the wall. The people that are really flexible, just come away from the wall a little bit. That way you can still work on that motion. You can get a little bit more range to the thoracic spine, but it'll also help working on the stability for your legs. So now I'll switch, go to the other side here. Outside leg's forward, inside leg is back. Inside arm against the wall or a little bit away if you're really flexible. Hands together, rotating. Again, this is a great combination working on mobility and stability. I'm having to stay stable through my core, so I'm not all over the place here. This is a controlled motion. But then when we get towards the back end, we're starting to work on that range of motion. So it's great. We'll do one more here. But if you were thinking about doing this in terms as a program, I would say 2 sets of 10 of that as well, kind of just running through that upper body series. So now we'll get into a little bit of a lower body portion. So I'm just standing tall, and what I'm doing is I'm going to bring my knee to my chest and just hug it. So I take it as far as the range of motion can go actively, grab it with both hands, and then just pull it to my chest. Again, what that does is, you can see when I get here, when I pull, it just tucks my pelvis under just slightly, so it gets a little stretch on that low back. Which again, we're seated all the time. So that is a goal for us, is to move that pelvis, move that low back so it can stay nice and mobile, so it doesn't get tight and doesn't start to cause pain in the future. Again, if we're nice and stable here, then I'm pulling in my abdominals, so I'm working on my balance. It's activating my glute muscles, my leg muscles, so a nice little total body activity here. And if I were going to do these, I'll probably do 3 sets of 10, just nice and controlled. Again, focusing on that squeeze and that hug. And then lastly, I'll show you a little circuit that you can do to work your core in the standing position. So I'm about 6 inches away from the wall. I'm standing on one leg, take my hands overhead, push my hips forward, and just try to bring my thumbs to touch the wall. What that's doing is, if you see me from the side, I have to come forward, and that extension, elongating of the core muscles is really how we work the abdominal. A lot of times, functionally, if you're walking, it's all extension versus some flexion in kind of these angles. That's what we call functional patterns, and that's what we want to work on our core. So you can do both legs, boom here, and just nice, and control forward. Then you can do it from the side. Take the leg that is furthest from the wall up, arms overhead, and now you're just side bending. Again, pushing your hips away from the wall, coming to up, get the other side. And again, if it's easy, if you have more motion, you can come a little further away from the wall. But this is all about control. And what we'll do in the clinic or in the weight room, once people get really comfortable with that, you can grab a weighted ball, like a med ball. People can hold a dumbbell. You can hold 2 dumbbells. Sometimes people will stand on one leg and we'll alternate, boom, with dumbbells overhead. Again, this is just a great way to work your core in what we consider a functional pattern. That means our feet are in contact with the ground, horizontal, or ground reaction force, we're controlling against rotation, and that's really how the core works. So that's kind of a nice, complete series, working upper back, core, low back, legs in a functional way. So as we just wrap up our time here, let's just go through a nice vertical core series. We'll do 5. Right now I have my left leg down. I'm gonna do 5 here, and then I'm gonna switch, put my right leg down. Again, you see I'm keeping my chin tucked. I'm not overextending. Because see, as soon as I put my head up, I lost my balance there. It's a part of just keeping everything engaged down this front here. Now I'll switch over. Boom. Boom. More, and now I have my right side against the wall, left leg up. Bring my left hand over, put my hand on my stomach here. This is a way to kind of cue yourself to feel is that core engaged. Boom. Pushing the hip away from the wall, stabilizing. Again, you can modify the range of motion to make it, within your wheelhouse. So you don't have to do this big, long, arcing motion. You can get really close and just practice, doing some modifications of it. You'll build up over time. Again, you can have 2 hands, kind of build your own adventure. So. So you see here, look, I'm about 8 minutes, got myself a nice sweat, and we just kind of did partial program to just kind of review. We started with the pelvic tilt for 2 sets of 10, went into our shoulder, thoracic mobility, 2 sets of 10. We did shoulder flexion against the wall, external, internal rotation. Then we did some thoracic rotation. All those were 2 sets of 10. Standing, we did a nice knee to chest for 2 sets of 10 to kind of get some lower body balance, some hip mobility, low back stretching there into flexion. And then we finished off with some vertical core. We worked kind of forward and back, and then we worked side to side, talked about some different modifications in terms of the range of motion, adding weight, alternating weight. So there's a lot of different ways that you can just in 8 to 10 minutes get up and get active, even if you do have a desk job and you're going to be confined to the desk for, most of the day. Sprinkle in some movement because it'll add up. So thank you guys for your time, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And like you said, it's hard to get away from the desk sometimes. So having these movements kind of ready to go in our back pocket is super helpful, and you can work up a little bit of a sweat. So thank you so much for being here, taking us through that, showing us modifications, and helping prepare us all to have some movements to do throughout the day and get away from the desk. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and we will see you all next week.
Awesome. Appreciate the time.